Okay, hello. No, I hear you saying to the screen right now, no, Dan, no more with the Charlie Kirk stuff. But unfortunately, yeah, here it is again, a reference to it in Four Weddings and a Funeral. We're just going to whiz through this really quickly. I'm just about, it's doing my head in now. I keep just keep finding loads of stuff on this. It's just absolutely insane. Um, Four Weddings and a Funeral. This is actually, it's got Hugh Grant in it, right? And so we were just looking at Hugh Grant in Cloud Atlas. I'm going to backtrack and I'm going to show you some stuff in Cloud Atlas. This is not how I got to this point um, by connecting up Hugh Grant, but I got there through a completely different avenue. But needless to say, we're at Four Weddings and a Funeral. And before we get into this major, um, Hugh Grant is playing Charles in this, okay? And we are in the church on multiple occasions here. So we've got Charlie in the church, Charlie Kirk, Charlie in the church. And don't forget, we had all the connections to Charlie Kirk, Princess Diana, and Prince Charles's wedding, and that tie in through to the anniversary of that this year as well. Okay, 7/29. Okay, the 29th of July. So we've had there's a lot of connections here, right? Not to mention, just straight off the bat as well, with the 1/4 numerology for the clock tower, the 1/4 numerology in the birthday of Charlie Kirk, and with Prince Charles as well, all tying back into the temple to the church. But we've got it right here. 4, we've got the number 4. Oh, hang on. No. Don't do that. We've got we've got the number 4, and we've got a funeral. We've got 4-1 here. Okay, we've got 1 funeral and 4 weddings. So we've got this 4-1 reference straight off the bat. So anyway, before I get proper into this, we need to go to just backtrack and just re-reference back with Cloud Atlas. Remember, we had quite a good decode in here for Hugh Grant with the Charlie Kirk death. Okay, here he is done up in his. This is Hugh Grant right here, and he is just about to terminate one of his employees. Watch this. Okay, I'm not actually going to play this because last time I got some copyright stuff popping up on it. I'll see if this will work. Just flicking through. So this is the employees about to terminate. Note the neck collar that has got a charge in it, and there you see, we don't need to see much more than this, but the blood is starting to come here on the neck, and it squirts out of the neck just where Charlie Kirk got shot. And I showed you several bits and bobs of number jumps, but if we go to the actual character that is being terminated there, Una 939, we can look at the gematria for that, and we have both the actual death date of Charlie Kirk encoded here, and also the 1004, the birthday, or the clock tower number, the 14 in here. Okay. What I forgot to show you in that decode while I'm here is that Hugh Grant plays several other characters, and this is one of the other characters. This is, this guy's a mean guy that's a cannibal type. I don't know what you call him, some kind of Indian thing. Okay, but this is some kind of tribal, cannibal warrior that's running after, and the other tribe that is here is we've got Tom Hanks on top of him. You can just about see the knife blade here, and he's asleep at this point, or I don't know, passed out from an overdose of eating people. And just so you can see his character here, has these snakes drawn in around the eyes. It's not a very good picture of this. So we have the snake eyes reference with this character, like the snake eyes reference with Charlie Kirk, and spoiler alert, he's about to get his neck cut, okay, by Tom Hanks. So we have another neck wound. So this is definite, programming for that event. So anyway, what else do I have to say about Cloud Atlas? Just a couple of things to note with one of the release dates here, September the 8th, the Queen's death date, so to speak, or not the correct year, of course. That was 2022, but I think it was 2022 anyway. But we've got that date, that day of the year here. So this is important because when we come on to some of these number jumps here in a minute, you're going to see this 8-9 showing up quite a bit. So anyway, with all that being said, Cloud Atlas, and don't forget we've got the the 3-eye Atlas bloody Fifth Element thing hurtling towards us right now, or somewhere out there supposedly hurtling around. Anyway, let me show you something here. So back to Four Weddings and a Funeral. So as I've already said, let's go down to the characters. There's a couple of things we're gonna have to do some number jumps from the two release dates. We've got the 20th of January 94, the 13th of May 94, and we've also got a run time of 117 minutes. Might be able to keep that in the back of your mind. But anyway, let's go through some of these names. Hugh Grant as Charles. So remember, Hugh Grant has the 9/9 birthday. Okay, let's just whiz to him real quick. 9/9. Again, this is the day before, the day before the 10th of September when Charlie Kirk dies. Okay. Andie MacDowell, who is playing Kerry, she has the Queen's birthday. Okay, 1958, same year that Madonna's born, by the way. So we got the 421 with her. Okay, so that's obviously loaded. And also, she is also, this name here, Kerry, is probably some kind of derivative of Charles. If you think of Carol, so Car, or the Carolingians, or have you say that, with Charlemagne there in France, the Frankish Empire, or what the hell that was. But anyway, all these names are interrelated. Frank and Charles and Carol and yada yada yada. Okay. So we've got references already to Charles popping up. Yeah, of course. And towards the end of the film, they actually show a picture of Prince Charles, and I will show you that in just a second. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump to the actual scene where we have it's not a neck wound, but we have Charles taking a hit in the church. So remember, this whole thing, is heavily filmed within the church. Yeah, the Kirk, the Charles is in the church. The Kirk, Charlie Kirk. Right. Let's go to the first scene. I'm not doing a very good job of this. So towards the end of the film, if you've seen the film, he's about to get. Spoiler alert, by the way. If you've not seen the film, then we're gonna do a few things that happen in the film, and this is sort of one of the main things. So he is going to get married. Charles is going to get married, not to who he wants to get married. Okay, so his friends are trying to get him to the church on time because he's always late. Okay, to these weddings. So anyway, they're pulling up in the Land Rover. Let's see, and they've kind of played a little bit of a trick on him. They've set all the clocks, I guess, forward, or well, I don't know, whichever way, to get him to church on time. Okay, which is a little bit interesting with Back to the Future as well, with the clocks being set wrong. And of course, there is the scene right before this where all the clocks are going off, and there's just loads of clocks. So it is a little bit reminiscent. If you can just see that in the thumbnail, there is a little reminiscent of, you know, the start of Back to the Future with all the clocks. Not really, but you know, there's that kind of idea there. And the alarm bell's going off. Okay. Anyway, let me just play this and see if it will.
Yes, time! It's about 10 to 9. Oh.
Did you hear that? So he asks for the time and he says the real time, yeah. And it's 10 to 9. 10 to 9. So we've got 10 and 9. We've got the death date encoded here. Now what I don't have is there's another shot of right before the wedding starts of the clock on, I think it's 10:40. So we have the 1:4, the 10:40, 1:4 on the actual church clock before the wedding starts. So that's also interesting. I couldn't find a clip with that in. Anyway, moving on to the actual what happens in the church at his wedding, right? Which is, I can probably get away with playing a little bit of this as well. So this is who he's about to marry, but not marry. Okay, I'm just going to play it, and you can see what happens. Bam. We've got the right side of the face, or the left, you know, the correct side of the face for where Charlie Kirk gets hit, and obviously he goes down. Okay, it would be interesting to kind of go through some of this stuff that's actually on the floor here. I don't know whether any of that's loaded or not, but there we go. Okay, he's gone down. tapping his neck here as well. It's kind of interesting. Okay, so we have Charles going down in the Kirk, in the church, and now we're going to do some number jumps. Okay, there's several other little references in the film. You know, like there's a little scene here. Let me just play you this little scene right at the start of the film. They do a little bit. There's a little bit of a funny thing going on here, but let me just play a little piece of this so you can just hear. Hopefully, you can hear what's being said.
Charles died 20 years ago.
Charles died 20 years ago. Okay. So there's a little bit there as well. What else we got? Let's start going through some of these number jumps, okay? Because this is interesting. So I'll have to try and remember what I've got in here. So firstly, this is Andy McDowell's birthday through to Madonna's birthday. Now the reason why, again, there's a whole bunch of stuff in here that connects to Madonna. This is why we are looking at this with Madonna in mind as well. Okay, so there's several number jumps that are going to be coming up that connect back to Madonna. So we've got Andy McDowell through to Madonna. It's 1:17. Now remember, the runtime for the film is 1:17. Okay, and incidentally, you know, I've mentioned this before in the past, but 1:17. If you take any one of those cycles that I show you, like Fibonacci cycle, Lucas cycle, or pi cycle, if you take any one of those cycles and add up all the digits in that 24-digit cycle, they all come out to equaling 117. This is again another, you know, it's a magic number supposedly, you know. And then of course you add 3 lots of 117 up, and it's going to give you 351, which is pretty interesting with the Vesica Pisces. Okay, so let's move on. This is the Sundance release of the film through to Charlie Kirk's birthday, 98 days. Okay, so we're starting. This is, you know, one of the 98 numbers. Okay, now somewhere in here I've got another 98 number, and let me show you, which is quite interesting. Let's go to this one straight away. This is actually Hugh Grant's real life inverted commas, whatever that is, 5/25/2018. This is his real life wedding through to back to Charlie Kirk's birthday, I guess. 8989. So, you already we're seeing something that's fairly fascinating. The real life wedding here for Hugh Grant and back to Charlie Kirk, and the release at the Sundance Festival, back to Charlie Kirk's wedding, 98 days. Fascinating stuff. Move on. This is okay, because I thought, I need to have a look and see, how many years apart is the Queen from Andie MacDowell. So I've got the Queen's birthday here, Queen Elizabeth II, through to Andie MacDowell's birthday. Let's see. 11688. Again, this is super duper interesting with Madonna. 16th of August. To cut a long story short, this 32 here is very interesting as well, because in the film itself, there is a scene where Charles is talking to Carrie about past lovers, and she's listing them off, and he's number 32 basically, and she gets up to 33. So which is kind of interesting, but he's number 32. Okay, so this is kind of interesting, with this connection here, with this 32 connection here as well. Okay, what else we got here, Dan? This is the actual, I think it's the English release. I don't think they give a US release. 5/13/94 through to Kirk's death, 4 weddings and a funeral. 11444. Absolutely mental. Absolutely mental. Okay. What else do we got, Dan? Let's see. And I guess actually, no, don't guess. This is Hugh Grant's birthday through to release of the film. 1, 2, 3. I believe there is a door. So I don't know if they're in a hotel at the top. One of the receptions are in a hotel, and I think he gets kind of trapped in a room. And I believe that door where he gets trapped by the bride and groom. They come up for some hanky panky, and he kind of gets stuck in the room. Okay, and the room number I believe is 123, but don't quote me on that. It might be a different room, but I'm sure I saw a 123 room number. This is fairly interesting. It's just a little decode within the film itself. What we got here? The release of the film to Charlie Kirk. Okay. Now, his birthday. Now look, the 211. Remember, the 211 is the 47th prime. So 211 is 47th. And remember all those hats on the table with number 47, Trumpy Boy, 47. What about the 47? I went ahead and I just ran out from Charlie Kirk's death through to the 1st of November. This next sort of date could maybe be for Madonna. 52 days. Super duper interesting with Madonna for sure. 52. Not to mention, if you go to iPet Goat, okay, this scene, as we've decoded it for Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, the 22nd of October, and I said, this next date coming up, obviously right here is we've got 3 towers, the Twin Towers plus Tower 7, the 127 numbers again coming up with Towers 1, 2 and 7. We've got 9/11 referenced here, the day after Charlie Kirk's birthday, but this could also be the 1st of November as well, not to mention the 10th of November, which is our big day for the Hoover Dam, maybe. But this, the 1st of November, which is 52 days on. Now, if this is Charlie Kirk, 52 days on from Madonna's Super Bowl, where do we get the 52 from? Well, that Super Bowl, Madonna's Super Bowl, happened on the, if I'm remembering correctly, the 5th of February. So 52. Potentially interesting way of getting to that number there from Charlie Kirk's death, maybe. Okay, where was we at? Somewhere right here. That was that 52 dump. Yeah, okay. What else we got? This again, this is kind of interesting. This number popping up here. What the hell is this number, Dan? If you read, and I haven't read it all, but if you read Hugh Grant's, Wikipedia, supposedly he was with a prostitute, got arrested, and this is the date. I believe I think that's what this was the date of his arrest. 6/27/95 through to Charlie Kirk's death, and look at it, 11033. Now, if you recall, Charlie Kirk was all about the 1-3 numerology, 31 years, 331 days. Okay, so very important kind of reference there with Charlie Kirk. This one we've already done. Okay, that was actually Hugh Grant's wedding through to Charlie Kirk's 8989 again. Remember, Cloud Atlas had that 89 reference again. Okay, just going back through this stuff. We went through that. That was the character that got killed in Cloud Atlas with the collar. Okay. Not to mention Hugh Grant himself being killed in that one scene. This is, now we're going to jump to Prince Charles, and I'm going to show you this scene. So this is Prince Charles, and this character, this number here is for the actress that is playing Fiona. So let's just whiz to that real quick, so you can just see who she is. This is the character playing Fiona, 24th of May, 1960. I hope that was correct what I had up there. Yeah, 24th of May 1960. Right, let me show you that scene. So right at the very end of the film, this is like the penultimate picture that is shown at the end of the film. And again, she's shown, what they do here at the end is they show everybody with their partners at the end of the film, okay? And they show her with Prince Charles. Oh dear, anyway, you can see it. They've just cut her out and stuck her with Prince Charles here. Okay. Again, let's just whiz back to this so we can just see where that comes out at. So her, the 24th of May, 1960, from Charles's birthday through 4/21. Again, back with Andy McDowell, the Queen. Okay, there's 4/21. So that is super duper interesting, as a little tie back in with the royalty again. What we got here? Oh boy. This now, okay. During the film, we have a character that dies called Gareth. Let me see. Oh, I'll go back. Hang on. Where is he? So this character dies at one of the weddings, and then they have the funeral for him. Hence the funeral. 15th of June 49. Is that what we were on? Let's hope so. Nope, we've jumped on. Hang on. 15th of June 49 through to Charlie Boy's birthday again. 2/13. Okay, this is the start of Lucas numbers, 213, a super duper important set of numbers. Okay, I thought that was interesting. If you watch the channel regular, you will know all about the 213. Okay, it's let me just show you actually why that's so interesting. Hang on, let's go to okay, so here's Lucas numbers. Okay, right here, it's got the L on it. This is actually just the sequence for Lucas numbers, and you'll notice that the start of that is 213 is the start of Lucas numbers. Where we get our white wedding date from is these two numbers here. Okay, I don't know how many times I've got to say this, but 11 and 18 coming together perfectly is represented with the number 29. If you add these two numbers up, it comes to 29. If you reduce each number individually, it equals 2 and 9. So this is like the perfect amalgamation, the perfect wedding of these two numbers, because it combines them, but it keeps their individuality. Okay, so it's like a perfectly balanced number. Notice that it's the 7th Lucas number, which gives us our date for Charles and Diana. Okay, 729. Right? Notice that it's 81 as well. Just read that backwards. Okay, so very, very important. Right, where was we at? Okay, so 213, super duper important, right? So that was worth a mention for sure. We did that. Oh, okay. Just one other thing. The big song for the film was by Wet, 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 which is obviously an interesting idea with the Hoover Dam breaking. Love is all around. Okay, you might remember that song. I've got a number jump for it in here, I believe. So this is the actress that hits Charlie at the church. This is the one he dumps at the altar. Okay, and we've got her birthday here, 4/27/65. 4/27/65 through to the release of the film. Look what we've got showing up. 1/6/8. Yeah, Madonna's birthday again, right? What else do we got? We can do the release of the film through to the 1st of November. What have we got? We've got 11496. Remember this number here, if we just make it into a date, add a 0 in, then so we've got the 1 with a 0, 10, 14 here, 14, and then 1996. There's our date for Madonna's daughter's birthday. Okay, and her father is also a Charlie as well. So there's that. We talked about that before. What else have we got here? This is the other release date for the film through to the 1st of November again. Look at this. 11608. Oh dear. And remember how important 116 was with Charlie Kirk and the White Wedding? That was the palindromic 11611 number from his birthday through to the 29th of July this year. But this is just again 168 numerology. Just take the single digits. Madonna again, absolutely mental. And then this was the release of the song by Wet Wet Wet, 5/9/94 through to the 1st, 115. Okay, so that is actually, if you unclick that, you can see we're making the jump from 114 numbers, 114.99 through to 115. I just thought it was interesting, you know. Remember, the 5th of November, this is when Doc invented time travel, you know, the 5th of November. And again, right at the end of the film, when they finally get together, there is a bolt of lightning it's raining. Okay, you got the deluge going on, and then there's this bolt of lightning in the sky as well. Okay, so that is that. I'm trying to think if I've forgotten anything. A couple of little tidbits, like her name in the film is Henrietta, so they call her, or he calls her Hen. And again, hen and ciccone, the chicken, and hen, very interesting connection there to Madonna as well. I think I'm forgetting some other little tidbits as well. I feel like there's half a dozen other little bits and bobs in the film. I think we'll just leave it there. That's probably a long enough decode anyway. Again, it's just absolutely mental, absolutely crazy that, you know, obviously they can't have. It's a bit difficult to have blood gushing out of somebody's neck in, you know, romantic comedy. But you know, they've managed to work it in here with a punch, you know, and just some names basically, and just a couple of times on clocks, and it's there. So wow, and the whole idea of the wedding, and also the time spent in the church during the film as well. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you on another one. Fingers crossed I don't find any more Charlie Kirk stuff. It just seems like everything I watch, or if I just investigate something just a little bit, we've headed back to some kind of connection with Charlie Kirk and Madonna. So anyway, thanks for watching. Yeah, God bless, good night, all that good stuff. Right, bye.